Hi, it's nice to be here again on a Wednesday morning. Again, we've lost the sunshine and it feels a bit more like autumn than it does summer. Anyway, enough about the weather. I wanted to follow on from last week and talk about change. So last week I talked to you about motivation and the types of motivation that there were. This week I'd like just to kind of take a step back and do a bit of a reflection on what that motivation is going to be used for. And that is typically change. Change in a behaviour, change in what you want to do, change. So, what does that actually mean? It means that the motivation that we were talking about, whether you're motivated towards something or away from something, and how to set up that motivation to get the best for you, is there to facilitate a change that you're after. You want to do more exercise to achieve a goal. You want to run quicker to achieve a goal of winning a race or reducing your time or whatever it is. You're looking for that motivation for a particular change. So if we take a step back from that motivation and look at how you're going to prepare for that change, we talked a little bit about how to make sure that you've got motivation away from something and towards something. But it's also important to make sure that you get that preparation for the change in place. It gives a solid foundation to make that change happen. It's that statement of you don't build a house on sand because the foundation isn't good enough to keep the house in place. It's the same with change. We need a solid foundation to then be able to build that change on. So make sure you've done the preparation. And what is that preparation? Well, we talked a little bit about how we can look at the different motivation styles. What I also suggest you do is to investigate in as much detail as you possibly can your desired end state. So what is it you're trying to achieve? I mean, really, really define it as fully as you possibly can. It's one of the critical things about getting change is really getting into it. In fact, imagine yourself there. Imagine yourself at the end and what it will feel like and what it will sound like and what it will smell like and what it will be like. Write it down, record it in whatever way it is best for you. So this starts to lay our foundation for change. It's also important to consider if there's anything in your way of achieving that change. If there wasn't something in the way, you may already have accomplished that change just easily. And I'm guessing if you got to this stage that change isn't an easy thing for you to do. So what is it that's in your way? Investigate what it is that's been holding you back, that's stopped this happening. And think about it, work out what you can do to get that out of your way. And possibly time for another Facebook Live on this. Do consider your loved ones in what's getting in your way. And I don't mean that in you have to leave your loved ones, not at all. But there are times when loved ones, although they love us, don't always do the best things for us. So that's possibly a topic for a whole different Facebook Live, and maybe we'll come on to that next week. Who knows? Have to work on whether that's the best one to do. So we're talking about things that get in your way. Also, what do you need to enable you to make that change? What resources do you need, both internal to you and external to you? What is it that you are going to deploy to be able to get that change done? And again, this will be a topic for a separate Facebook Live where we can go into this in more detail so that you can understand the resources that you need internally to make change happen, and also externally, very physical things that you might need or environments and things like that. So this gets you a really, really good foundation for that change. But one of the things that you need to consider at the planning stage for change is that everything doesn't always go to plan. Who has a plan that's 100% correct when we start? I'm envious if you do. Plans need to be dynamic. They need to be able to flex and change and adapt. And one of the things that we need to consider while we're doing these plans is what's going to happen if it doesn't go exactly as we expect? What happens if you don't achieve the goal that you're after one day? What happens if you don't make that milestone? What happens if you fall off the wagon and have the cream cake or whatever it is that you're trying to work on? That doesn't mean we throw the plan away. It means that we need to have a flexible plan that allows for things to change, things to go off track, things to not go as we expect. So include in your plan, in this foundation, the ability to take those little side swipes, those little derailers, those things that take us off track. So that's a few tips for today. In the future, not only will I look at our loved ones and how they can derail us, and the questions about our resources so we can identify internal and external resources, I also want to have a look at actually taking that action and then replanning if we need to. So that's it for today. What I would say is if you missed the one on motivation, I'm going to be working very hard this afternoon and this evening to get these videos actually uploaded through my website. So if there is anything you've missed out on and you want to catch up at some time, please tune into the website and it'll all be there for you to catch up with. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.